I recently made a video detailing how the song The Monster Under the Bed by Robert Sheldon changed me, but that video did a horrible injustice to my genuine thoughts of this melodical masterpiece. 3 minutes isn't nearly enough to describe my feelings on the subject, and it's only scratching the surface of the figurative iceberg of what I have to say about this titular tune. That may or may not be alluding to the Iceberg segment of this documentary. Foreshadowing aside, I have been needing to express this for the longest of times, and only now am I able to finally say what I need to about this song. No, it's not a song. As a matter of fact, it's more than a song. It's a feeling! Now, I understand how you may be wondering as of now, but Ruben, of course it's a song. And that's exactly what I thought until I looked in within myself and came to a drastic conclusion. I will not come to that conclusion now, but rather throughout this entire video. It will be split into several chapters, each of which delving deeper into this theory until it finally comes full circle, which you will soon discover for yourself. So sit down, grab a snack, and let's dive into the Monster Under the Bed in-depth analysis. If you haven't already seen the previous video, The Monster Under the Bed is a grade 2 level song composed by Robert Sheldon, and is described in the description of the YouTube video showcasing the song. I quote, "What child hasn't imagined frightening creatures lurking in their rooms at bedtime? This imaginative and delightful composition helps to put a more comical and friendly face on this monster, employing a jaunty melody, whole tone harmonies, and the use of sound tubes that produce an eerie and monstrous sound when rolled over the head. This is sure to be a hit with players and audience alike. The perfect novelty for any concert, even more so if your concert's in late October." I think this description is dead wrong, for reasons I will describe throughout the dissection of the song which I'm about to begin. Also, in honor of the last video, this segment will be described by an AI voice because, well, come on, you can't go wrong with pre-made Adam. Anyways, here it is.
The song begins with the quiet chorus of the woodwinds, so delectable and innocent, as if nothing could ever go wrong. It is quite enticing, and it convinces you that the song is going to stay normal. Although as it's about to end, it seems off. That's when the low brass comes in and hammers the woodwinds in their heads with the da-da-da-da. As aforementioned, this is the monster that is about to munch and crunch on your balls. But since then, I have come to a new idea about this beginning part. And it's that the monster wants your balls because he thinks they will return him into a human again. Because if you recall, the song has no start or end, and is a cycle of becoming the monster and clawing at the human's balls again. This is a great theory, but it still leaves one part open-ended. When you go into the closet and snort the crack, what happens to the monster outside when you turn into it? I also have an answer for this plot hole, which is that the monster turns back into the kid. Now bear with me. This may seem a bit far-fetched at first, but let me explain. As you snort the crack, the monster outside wants some too. And if you recall, the monster still knows the crack is there from the last loop of the song. Not only did he know that, but he pocketed some for himself during the happy-go-lucky part of the song, where he turns into the monster. So while the monster listens to you on crack, he snorts some himself. And just like the crack turns the human into the monster, it turns the monster into the human, deeming this an infinite loop, never starting or ending. Since there are two people in the song who exchange the roles of being the monster and the victim all throughout it, you may wonder who they are. This may sound crazy at first, but they are the trapped souls of Sully and Boo from the hit Pixar film Monsters, Inc. Think about it. Do we know what happened to them after the movie? Nope. A later segment of this video is dedicated to Sully alone. There's no flaw to my hypothesis. We now know who is suffering, and have even fixed a previous plot hole, so let's resume the song. After the low brasses growl, the trombones get a loud, obnoxious part, which is actually the child letting one rip, as it sounds similar, and is the reason they're able to escape from the monster. They quickly hop off the bed and run away as the monster chokes on the gas. The song returns to quiet for a while, with the occasional loud parts being the monster slowly stumbling toward you with a wide-open jaw. You scream like a fucking chipmunk, eventually hiding in the closet and snorting the crack as the song gets happy. As I've explained, you turn into the monster, walk out of the closet, and see a little mofo running around, scared, which is actually the previous monster who just snorted the crack and turned into the human again. You stumble towards them as they scream and cower, eventually getting trapped on the bed, where the song then loops. You are now the monster who's about to munch and crunch on the kid's balls. And you're no friendly monster like the description of the video says. No, you're actually Sully from Monsters, Inc., but horrifying. The little mofo is Boo, and you continually switch roles. This song goes hand in hand with Monsters, Inc. Remember when I said the song has no start or end? There actually is a start. Randall, the evil chameleon thing, actually ripped Sully's balls off, which is why in the part where Sully is taking Boo back once and for all, he loses his fucking shit and tries to munch and crunch on Boo's balls. Boo has balls because she's canonically trans, which is a well-proven theory for another day. The reason that Boo has balls again after the ballless monster turns into the human when snorting crack is because the crack completely transforms you into the opposite one of the song. So the monster under the bed is canon in the Monsters, Inc. lore, and it was actually the original deleted ending for the movie. But the idea was later inherited by Robert Sheldon, and they deleted the 10-minute scene of Randall sawing Sully's balls off, which was the original push to do such heinous acts to Boo. Now, you may be wondering why Robert Sheldon would do all of this, and it's simple. He's the founder of the religion, Monsterism. There is an entire segment of this video dedicated to it, so stay tuned. This is Pre-Made Adam signing off.
So that's the in-depth analysis. I could have covered the meaning and value of every note played while it comes inside of me, but that's for another time. Anyways, now it's time for Chapter 2. As you should know by now, Robert Sheldon is the talented man who made the monster under the bed in the year of our Lord and Savior Sully, 2005. I'll just let another AI read his biography because I'm sure my voice is getting annoying by now.
Robert Sheldon was a member of the British Parliament for Ashton-under-Lyne from 1964 through 2001. Under the primership of Harold Wilson and James Callaghan, he was the financial secretary to the Treasury from 1975 through 1979.
Shit, wrong one.
Robert Sheldon, b. February 3, 1954, has taught instrumental music in the Florida and Illinois public schools and has served on the faculty at Florida State University where he taught instrumental music education classes, conducting, and directed the university bands.
So basically, he's just a guy that makes music if you get the gist. But he's literally the main author of Sound Innovations, the book that taught me music alongside Bruce Gaming. So in a way, the same guy who made The Monster Under the Bed taught me how to play, read, and make music in general, which has allowed me to make bangers such as Miska, Mooska, Mickey Mouse, I'm gonna break into your fucking house, and come on man, you gotta let me hop the border. And we can't possibly forget just the idea that this knowledge was aided by this man is quite insane. Of course, he's also the founder of Monsterism, which I will talk about later as I've said. Anyways, it's time for the interviews next. For ideas other than my own, I interviewed some of my friends for their thoughts on the song. This is what they had to say.
How do you feel about the monster under the bed?
I can still hear it. Voice it.
I think the correct answer would be that it's the greatest song you've ever heard, correct?
I can hear the.
Man, fuck you. Sir, how do you feel about the monster under the bed?
I'm gonna come.
Agreed. You're not even in band, but how do you feel about the monster under the bed?
I'm about to come.
What do you like about the monster under the bed?
I like that in some parts it's terrifying, but some parts it's also more jolly, and that it says in the song to play it, the sheet says to play it jauntily, which is like nobly, jolly, but in actuality it's kind of terrifying, and it's also in a major key.
Yes. Alright, how do you guys feel about the monster under the bed?
I hate women. I hate niggas.
It was life-changing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Niggas suck.
That's well said.
Monster Under the Bed is the greatest song ever. I loved playing it, and it was super fun.
Yes. Alright, so why is the monster under the bed the greatest song ever?
Because it makes you feel like you're climbing under the bed sometimes, and it feels so good.
Yes.
Because he nutted in my butthole.
So why is the monster under the bed the greatest song ever?
It's pretty cool, man. There's like some good scary parts, you know, classic big tuba parts. Mostly just because of the tuba, because, you know, tuba's you know, the best. And it's kind of like bouncy and jumpy. That's what John Sully means, you know, kind of energetic, like boom, you know. So yeah.
So why is it the best song?
Yes, why?
Is it the best song?
Yes, why?
You tell me why.
Because water.
As you can see, even they agree that this song is an absolute masterpiece. Their opinions really shook me to my core when I heard them because of how good they are. Definitely a new way to look at things. Anyways, now it's time for Chapter 4, The Iceberg. Probably know what an internet iceberg is, but if you don't, it's some PNG of an iceberg with a bunch of words on it, each being about a topic, and as it goes lower through several layers, the things get more obscure and potentially frightening. I made one for the monster under the bed, which could have been its own video, and I will be covering every entry starting at Tier 1, The Sky. And yes, I do realize that this is a section in a section. Robert Sheldon. Obviously, he's the guy that composed the song. Go to Chapter 2 for more info. Key of B flat. This is the key the song is consistently in. I say consistently because some songs I've played don't follow those rules. Shush. This is referring to the parts of the song where we have to shush what's presumably the monster. Jauntily. This is the style the song is played in because apparently it would be too scary if it was dark or gloomy. 4/4 time. This is the time signature the song is played in. Hey, at least it's not like Shorewood Overture 5/4. Dynamic change. The dynamic changes a lot in the song to compensate for the various parts where the monster is and isn't munching and crunching on your balls. 63 measures. That's how many measures there are in the song. I personally think Robert should have rounded it up to 69, just had 5 measures of us fucking screaming at the top of our lungs, but that's just my opinion. And that was Tier 1, all the stuff I could probably ask Bruce Gaming and get straight answers from. Now on to Tier 2, the tip. Lots of sharps. There were a lot of sharps in the song, which makes each note a step higher. It wasn't half step, I don't fucking know. YouTube Showcase is referring to the upload of the song on YouTube by Alfred Music Concert Band. Sound tubes. We used sound tubes for a part of the song to make it sound ooh spooky! Euphoric part. There's a part of the song around halfway through that just suddenly sounds euphoric for some reason. Of course, my theory has already debunked that this is because you snort the crack. Low brass is the monster. The low brass takes the role of the monster in this song, hence the da 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 da. And that was Tier 2, the lesser known things. Now on to Tier 3, below the surface. The monster is comical and friendly. This is how the monster is described in the description of the aforementioned YouTube showcase. Lack of eighth notes. I don't know if it was just my part, but there really aren't that many eighth notes in the song, despite the fact of the next entry, the band test. Because Bruce Gaming gave us a test on the song, and if I remember correctly, I kinda choked on it, but I still got an A. Original recording. This is also referring to the YouTube showcase. I don't know why I mentioned it again. Who are the characters? I already answered this earlier, they're Sully and Boo from Monsters Inc. Imaginative and delightful. This is also how the song is described by the YouTube description for some reason. Does the monster kill you? It is unknown if you survive the monster at the end of the song. Of course, according to my theory, it's an infinite loop, but I digress. And now is Tier 3, the things you'd probably have to be watching this video to know. Now on to Tier 4, the bottom. My comment on the video. I left a comment on the Monster Under the Bed video. Go read it, now! I'll wait. Alright, I'm back. You better have read it, or else I'll find you. The song isn't remotely frightening. For a song called The Monster Under the Bed, it isn't scary at all. I guess Robert just thought we were all pussies or something. Who is being shushed? If the song is a one-on-one with the monster, then who exactly are we shushing? The monster? The song was released 4 years after Monsters Inc. This is clearly a deep-cut reference deliberately made by Robert Sheldon to the movie. They're 4 years apart because that's the age I was when my parents went their separate ways. The monster's intentions. Disregarding my theory, it is unknown what the monster is trying to do in the song. The originally used sound tubes. It is unknown what type of sound tubes were originally used for the song, but I don't think anyone gives a fuck, to be honest. One of Robert's easier songs. This is noticeably one of the easier songs Robert has composed, having it only be grade 2. The reason why Robert made the song. Robert has not publicly stated as to why he composed this song. Obviously, it was for him to start the religion Monsterism, but once again, I digress. And now is Tier 4, the things I think only I and Robert himself care enough to know. But it goes deeper. Now, onto the final layer. Tier 5, the Abyss. These are the darkest, least known, and most unnerving things about the song. Boo! The song is endless. As we've established with the theory, the song has no definitive start or end. Whether this was intentional from Robert or not, this is quite interesting. The monster is a figurative speech. What if instead of being a generic creature monster, the song is referring to a figurative monster like a child predator or serial killer? That gives the song a whole new implication. Monsterism. This is the aforementioned religion created by Robert Sheldon, which, as I've said, will have its own upcoming chapter in this video. The original version. The version of The Monster Under the Bed published isn't actually the original. There was an older version that was created beforehand and shown to Alfred Music, but they rejected it for being too frightening and disturbing. The person who had to watch it needed therapy afterwards. After this, Robert revised the song to make it more lighthearted and goofy, but the old version still existed. Fortunately, it was uploaded to YouTube from an unknown source, and I'm about to play it. Please skip ahead if you are frightened easily. Okay, I feel bad for you if you actually fell for that. But yeah, that was the Monster Under the Bed Iceberg. I hope I explained these things well. Anyways, now it's time for the next chapter. Remember at the start of the video when I said that the song isn't a song but rather a feeling? This is the part where I answer that. Let's start from the beginning. When I listened to The Monster Under the Bed for the first time, I felt something. It shook me to my core and it gave me a strange sensation. The song simply could not compare to other songs we were playing for that concert, Colonel Happy's March and Smoky Mountain Portrait, because it was greater in every way. The range and dynamics, the sound tubes, the shushing, the monster filling my ass with his... Okay, you get the picture. The song is just better. It's so good that it made me think about what this could mean. The good sensation felt like a calling to something, and I knew I had to search for it, so I carefully read through the entire history of Robert Sheldon, from the day he was born to present, and I unearthed something shocking. He was responsible for a religion I had never heard of called Monsterism. Curious, I did more research, and I discovered everything there is about it. The entire theme of Chapter 6 is about Monsterism, so I'll have to wait until then to describe it. But for now, I need to continue explaining how this is more than a song. That of which I experienced when listening to the song is more than joy, more than dopamine, and even more than nutting. It's pure ascension. I can feel myself ascend as though making peace with God. That's why it's a feeling. It has to be more than joy because joy pales in comparison. I call this feeling Monsters Rush. I will now describe the first time I felt Monsters Rush. It was another generic day in band. Bruce Gaming was giving us the songs for our next concert, and nothing seemed remotely out of the ordinary. But when I laid my eyes upon the Monster Under the Bed sheet music he gave me, something snapped inside of me. My pupils quickly dilated, and I began to start violently shaking and twitching. When Bruce Gaming asked what was wrong, I full force threw my euphonium directly at him, sending him flying back through the wall behind him, but I didn't have a care in the world. I began to shake more violently now, and I started kicking chairs and knocking down stands. Everyone was screaming, and one kid even tried to punch me to put an end to this, but I reacted quicker than him, blocked his punch, and then knocked him out, sending him sailing out of the window. He hit a car driving by and it exploded into flames. Kids were evacuating while I continued to ascend, shaking very violently now and foaming from the mouth. I could hear the song playing. I swear I could! 10 minutes later, the police arrived and tried to shoot me, but the bullets bounced off. One tried to pull a melee attack, so I snapped their neck like a twig. This freaked the rest of them out, so they called special forces to handle me. By now, the entire school had evacuated, and I began to ascend to the sky. My eyes were glowing brighter than the sun. A military plane began to shoot at me, so I summoned my euphonium to my height and threw it directly at the plane, sending it crashing down into fire and flames. By then, they knew I was a designated threat, so they got with the government and agreed to bomb me. I pity their idea that a simple atom bomb would defeat me. When they realized this, they desperately sent the entire US military on me as a last resort. They contemplated using an extinction bomb, but decided I wasn't worth life on Earth, so they finally left me alone. But I wasn't done. I ascended into space, past the stars and planets, and into a completely new... I continued to ascend for about 63 hours until I finished. After my first Monsters rush, I came to a conclusion. The monster under the bed is love. The monster under the bed is life. So we've concluded that Monsters Rush is its own feeling, but what about the other feelings? They are worthless in comparison. The love you have for anyone and everyone on Earth? Nothing. The deep depression felt after being heartbroken? Pointless. These things are nothing compared to Monsters Rush. Now, if you wish to feel Monsters Rush yourself, you must do the following. Put yourself in a mindset that is susceptible to Monsterism, embrace what's about to happen, and either listen to the song, look at the sheet music, or watch the 2005 hit film Monsters Inc. I hope you agree with me that Monsterism is the greatest thing in humanity as a whole. It is really better than any other religion ever, and I will happily follow it for the rest of my life, and I hope you follow it for the rest of yours too. Monsterism is just such a great thing, and you need to participate in it with me. Like, come on, why would you not want to participate in it? It's the right thing to do. You know, I'm saying this right now, it's the right thing to do. If you do anything else, you're wrong. If you think about any other religion, and if you think that they're right, you're wrong. Because it's Monsterism. Monsterism. It's the right religion. And you have to stand with me here. We have to be together with Monsterism. If you don't want to do that, you're a shithead, and you should fucking go to hell. Actually, yeah, there's this thing called Monster Hell. It's fucking monsters in hell, and you deserve to go there if you don't agree with me on this religion. I'll be up here in Monster Heaven with Sully and Mike, and you'll be down there in Monster Hell with fucking Randall. All I'm saying is that you need to stand with me, and we need to continue to praise Monsterism. Every single day, every fucking breath you take, you need to pray to the fucking Monsterism gods. Because if you don't, then you're gonna go to Monsterism Hell. And you do not want to go to Monsterism Hell, because fucking Randall's there. There's fucking constant torture shit, and like you really don't want to go to Monsterism Hell, because the fucking water news guy, the fucking spider-ass motherfucker, yeah, he's there. And you know, the shit I'm saying isn't even scripted anymore. This is just rambling coming from the heart. And if you don't want to believe this stuff and come and walk with me with Monsterism, then I'm gonna spit in your face, and I'm gonna strangle you, and I'm gonna throw you to the floor, and then I'm gonna kick dirt in your face, and then I'm gonna put you in a coffin 7 feet down, and I'm gonna slowly stomp that coffin until it encaves and kills you. Then I'm gonna take your body out, take you to the fucking Krusty Krab, have SpongeBob turn you into a Krabby Patty, and then fucking eat you, and then and then I'm gonna fucking Randall's gonna fucking shit in your mouth. All I'm saying is that you need to worship Monsterism with me, and if you don't, I'll be watching you. Anyways, time for the next chapter. By this point of the video, Monsterism needs no introduction. Founded in 2005 by Robert Sheldon alongside his song The Monster Under the Bed, it is by far the greatest and most correct religion on the face of the earth. But after all I've spoke of it, I haven't really explained what it's about, so this is where I do that. Monsterism is having faith that monsters are always right no matter what. You must pray to the monsters, listen to the song daily, and similarly to how Muslims need to take a pilgrimage to Mecca, you need to watch both Monsters Inc. and Monsters University at least once. There's also a list of things you need to do to ensure that you still have faith that I will now demonstrate. Thing 1. Look at pictures of Sully daily. Thing 2. Watch a totally legit version of Monsters Inc. or University. Thing 3. Find someone named Sullivan or Mike and make out with them. Thing 4. Buy a copy of Monsters Inc. annually. Thing 5. Eat the following: Monsters Inc. cookies and Scream ice cream, the Mike cherry bar, a Monsters Inc. cake, all the things in this image, and finally these stupid fucking gummy. Thing 6. Sell your soul to Mr. Waternoose in exchange for 11 doubloons. Take them to an RV in the desert, middle of Albuquerque, New Mexico, and locate Walter White. He will tell you the 3 wise monkeys fried diamonds on a Sunday afternoon. Ignore him when he says this, and then push him aside and barge into the RV. Get into the driver's seat and speed off before he's about to take control over the situation. Then you must go exactly 27.5 miles south and dig a 7-foot deep hole. Jump into the hole and wait 9 seconds, then hit the griddy 5 times. Now climb out of the hole and begin to follow the North Star for 7 kilometers until you see a cactus. This cactus will try to compare dick sizes with you. If you have a bigger dick than it, it'll give you a key. Then you must take this key to these coordinates in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. Once there, you'll see a small bunker. You'll need a netherite pickaxe to break into the bunker, and once you do, you'll fall for about 10 seconds and land in a furniture store. The guy who works there will try to shoot you, so come prepared with a 12 gauge and handle him. Then you must walk 10 steps forward, 54 steps to the left, and 15 steps to the right. You will see a deluxe queen-size bed for $499.99 with a comfortable cushioning and adjusting technology to ensure a good night's sleep. Sleep in this bed for 8 hours. When you wake up, there will be a sign in front of you that says Nacho Grande. You need to claw the sign from the ground and take it with you. Then find Walter White again. You'll be amazed that you have the sign for it and will gladly take it in exchange for some government files. Take these files to the White House. If you arrive at exactly 10:57 a.m., you'll see Joe Biden standing outside. Beat him up, and then locate the quantum computer in the White House. Open the interdimensional travel application, and you'll be asked to enter a prompt. The prompt is 69420. Once entered, you'll be asked to take to the travel pod. Once you do, you'll be transported to the Monsters Inc. dimension. From here, you'll need to locate Sully and ask how many times he's eaten the fish fillet sandwich. He will understand the Government Act 4077 code and will give you a copy of Monsters Inc. From there, you need to head to the screen collection area of the Monsters Inc. factory and put in the dimension code 42069. You'll be taken to the bedroom of a child in Maryland. Beat the child senseless and then escape the house and run back to your own house from there. Then put the copy of Monsters Inc. into a PS5 specifically and watch it. This has proven to be the best way to achieve Monsters Rush. Thing 7. Listen to every song by Robert Sheldon. Thing 8. Sleep under the bed. Thing 9. Listen to the song while working out. And finally, Thing 10. Cosplay Monsters Inc. characters. There are so many more things about Monsterism that I currently don't have time to talk about. Even Bruce Gaming can tell you about it.
Yeah, Monsterism is pretty cool, to be honest.
So if that's not enough to get you to want to join Monsterism, then I don't know what is. Just please, this is a call to action. You need to stand with me with Monsterism. It is the right thing to do. It is correct according to all known laws of everybody thinks it's correct is what I'm saying. Monsterism is the right way to go. It's the right thing to do, and you should know that by now after all that I've told you. Please, walk with me. Walk with Robert Sheldon. Walk with Bruce Gaming. And we can all join together to continue with our Monsterism things. And we will continue to praise Monsterism for the rest of our lives. Because Monsterism is right, and if you disagree, fuck you. But this talk about Monsterism doesn't end, because the next chapter is about Sully being the symbol of faith. Sully is considered the symbol of faith in Monsterism, just like Muhammad and Jesus Christ. He is extremely powerful and almighty, but who is he really?
James P. Sully Sullivan is one of the two protagonists of the Monsters, Inc. franchise. He is the main protagonist of Monsters, Inc., the deuteragonist of Mike's New Car and Monsters University, one of the main characters of Party Central, and a major character in Monsters at Work. He was the top scarer at Monsters, Inc. prior to its change towards collecting laughs when he replaced Henry J. Waternoose III as the CEO of the company. He is the best friend and the roommate of Mike Wazowski, whom he met while attending college at Monsters University. Though the two started off as enemies, they overcame their differences and became lifelong best friends, serving together in the mailroom and the scare floor.
So clearly Sully is a great guy, which is why he was chosen to be the main symbol of Monsterism. But what else do we know about him?
Sully was born to famous scarer Bill Sullivan and an unnamed Sully's mom. His father cared deeply about the family's reputation and put a lot of pressure onto Sully to live up to the family name as a scarer. The events of Monsters University Sully was accepted into the popular college Monsters University at age 18. He was a mischievous yet friendly monster who thought his family name was enough to get him into the scaring business. He was quick to clash with another monster named Mike Wazowski, who he considered to have lower chances of becoming a scarer than himself. He joined the fraternity Roar Omega Roar, only to be kicked out after his and Mike's rivalry caused them to be booted from the scaring program. He decided to join Uzma Kappa in order to get back into the scaring program, but he feared that Uzma Kappa will lose the scare games because they were not significantly scary. He eventually developed from Mike's rival to his friend, although he didn't find Mike scary enough to win and tampered with the equipment so that Mike would register a good score. As a result, Uzma Kappa won, but Mike found out that Sully cheated and entered the human world to prove himself a good scarer. Feeling guilty, Sully confessed his cheating to Dean Hardscrabble and risked his life to get Mike back from the human world. However, the door was deactivated, stranding the duo. Together, Sully and Mike generated enough energy from their side to power the door and scare the newly arrived human camp rangers. They returned to the monster world, but were immediately expelled from Monsters University. Despite this, they got to work at Monsters Inc. in the mailroom and worked their way up until Sully became a scarer, with Mike as his assistant, and met their boss, Henry J. Waternoose III. In Monsters Inc., Sully and Mike have been employed at Monsters Inc. for years, and Sully is close to breaking the all-time scare record. Despite being at the top of his game, Monstropolis is fighting an energy crisis, as it is not as easy to collect screams from children as it used to be. Sully is highly respected not only by his peers and coworkers, but also by his boss, Henry J. Waternoose. While collecting paperwork as a favor for Mike, Sully finds there is a lone door left activated on the scare floor. When he goes to investigate, he is startled by a human girl named Boo, who escapes into the factory. Sully hides her in a gym bag and interrupts Mike's date with Celia May, needing immediate help. Boo gets out of the bag and causes chaos in the restaurant, causing the CDA agents to raid the building in search of Boo. Sully and Mike escape and hide Boo in their apartment, and while Mike is frustrated over the situation, Sully finds himself caring for Boo's safety. When he finds out that Randall Boggs, Sully's rival, is the monster that scares Boo, he starts to realize that scaring human children for their own benefit is not fair to them. With no one else to care for Boo in the meantime, Sully and Mike are forced to bring Boo to work with them in a costume, claiming she is Sully's distant relative. Meanwhile, Randall and Fungus are trying to track Boo down as they are the ones who left her door on the scare floor. Randall seeks to revolutionize the scaring industry with his Scream Extractor, hoping to one day become the leader of Monsters, Inc. After struggling to find and keep track of Boo, Mr. Waternoose has Sully perform a demonstration for some pupils in training, against his will. Sully scares the training dummy, but also Boo, who realizes he has the same job as Randall does. Once the room clears, Sully and Mike explain the entire situation to Mr. Waternoose, who promises he will set things right. Mr. Waternoose brings the duo to a door so they can return the child, but he instead opens a door to the Himalayas and banishment the pair as he is in cahoots with Randall. Boo is given to Randall and brought to the Scream Extractor. Stuck in a snowy wasteland, Sully and Mike are helped by the abominable snowman. However, Mike is angry at Sully for repeatedly going against his wishes and not listening to him throughout the entire situation. Intent on saving Boo, Sully dangerously rushes down to a human village so he can find a door and return to the monster world. He defeats Randall, saves Boo, and reconciles with Mike, who also found his way back. The trio are chased through the door warehouse by Randall, and they go through all kinds of locations. Ultimately, they defeat Randall and throw him into the trailer folks' door. Sully and Mike trick Waternoose by bringing Boo into the scare simulator, which is monitored by cameras. He confesses his plan to save his company at the expense of morality, and he is arrested by the CDA agents. Sully is forced to say a heartfelt goodbye to Boo, whose door is then door shredder. Realizing that laughs also create energy, Sully reshapes the company to focus on collecting laughter from children, and he becomes the CEO. Meanwhile, Mike works on rebuilding Boo's door for Sully. When Sully puts the last piece into place, the door activates, and he is able to see Boo again. Sometime after the events of the film, Sully announces "Put that thing back where it came from, or so help me," a company play that stars Mike, who has also directed, produced, and written the play in front of the audience, and he appears in the play as a co-star. Monsters at Work takes place shortly after the first film, and Sully is still the CEO of the newly reimagined Monsters, Inc. A new scarer named Tyler Tuskman applies to become a scarer, only to find that the company no longer hires them anymore. Sully and Mike both have supporting roles in the story. In the short, Mike shows his new car to Sully and brings him outside while telling him not to peek. When Mike tells Sully to open his eyes and asks him what he thinks of the car, Sully asks him what was wrong with the old car, to which Mike replied, "That's 3 little words, Sully, 6-wheel drive." Then they both got in. Unfortunately for Mike, Sully accidentally ruins the car by doing various different things, and Mike eventually told Sully to get out, but ruined the car himself when he sped off. Description from official website. When it comes to scaring, Sully's a natural. His abundant size, fierce roar, and family legacy of a long line of high-achieving scarers make him a shoo-in for the esteemed scare program at Monsters University. But from the moment the overly confident monster steps his big, furry feet on campus, it's clear he'd rather crack jokes than books. And he learns the hard way that his unfettered talent and family ties can only get him so far. With his ego bruised and future in jeopardy, a stubborn Sully must put his pride aside, team up with an odd bunch of misfit monsters, and actually work if he wants to live up to his true scaring potential. Scare stats. Score: 100,021 scaring techniques, letting out a Jumanji lion. Roar. Height: 7 to 8 inches. Weight: 766 pounds. Sully is nice, outgoing, brave, intelligent, selfless, humble, even-tempered, confident, and caring. He appears to be popular among the other employees. In the Monsters, Inc., though his job is to scare children, Sully makes efforts to befriend Boo and then goes to extreme measures to protect her from Randall Boggs and trick Henry J. Waternoose III into confessing to attempting to kidnap children. It is Sully who realizes that making children laugh is a far better way to produce energy than making them scream, thus solving Monstropolis' energy crisis. Sully is also very loyal to Mike Wazowski, going so far as to lend him odorant and making reservations for him at an exclusive restaurant on Celia May's birthday. Sully also tries to cover for Mike when he realizes he forgot to turn in his paperwork. In return, he relies on Mike to help him in his madcap efforts to keep Boo safe. When Mike protests, Sully chooses to help Boo over appeasing Mike's pride. His choice is justified when Mike later changes his mind and comes to help him and Boo. Sully is a huge monster, measuring 7-8 inches and weighing 766 pounds according to both of his scare cards. He physically resembles a humanoid bear, and his body is covered in light teal fur, with the stomach area's fur being a light shade of blue. He also has purple polka dots, which are part of his fur's color scheme. It is not known what color Sully's skin is, but his palms imply that his skin is generally the same color as his fur. On both sides of Sully's temple lay a pair of whitish-beige bull-like horns, and his limbs are muscular, and his 2 arms are significantly longer than his 2 legs. Sully has 4 fingers on each hand, and 3 toes on each foot, with thick and sharp brown lion claws being present on all of his digits. He has a pair of blue eyes, with eyebrows of a darker teal to complement them. Sully's mouth hides a set of large, sharp lion teeth. He also has a big reptilian tail with a line of brownish spikes that starts from his stubby neck. Sully is also one of the few monsters with a visible nose. In his case, it is a stretched-out cone-like nose with a similar color to his eyebrows. It overall resembles the nose of a lion. While Sully's physical traits are overall the same between both films, he is noticeably thinner and shaggier in Monsters University, with a mullet-like cowlick on the top of his head. Trivia Sully appears in the end credits of Cars as a giant monster truck. He is also seen in Tokyo Mater with a car version of Mike. He bears resemblance to Bowser, the villain from Nintendo's Mario franchise. Originally, Sully was going to be a janitor and not a scarer in one early version of the Monsters, Inc. This is referenced in Monsters University in a montage of Sully and Mike's jobs climbing the ranks to become scarers, one of the jobs being a janitor. According to the original treatment from the DVD, Sully's working name was Johnson, and instead of being the best scarer as seen in the first film, he was a clumsy monster who was very bad at his job. Ultimately, this persona was instead given to Thaddeus Bile. In another early draft, one of his original names was Haw, and instead of working as a scarer, he actually worked for a TV show. One prototype drawing of Sully showed him with brown fur, while another showed him wearing glasses, and a third showed him with tentacles. The reason for Sully to be drawn with legs for his final design is due to the fact that the animators were afraid that the viewers would focus too much on the tentacles instead of his face had he be drawn with such. A drawing of Sully appears on a wood carving in the witch's house in the Pixar Animation Studios film, Brave. In the Toy Story Toons short Partysaurus Rex, the toilet cover in the bathroom has the same design as Sully's fur. Sully is the first Pixar protagonist who doesn't have a love interest, followed by Remy and Merida. In the prequel, it is said that he is 18, so in the first film, he is probably 28. John Goodman, Sully's voice actor, also voiced Pasha from The Emperor's New Groove, Baloo from The Jungle Book 2, and Eli Big Daddy LaBouffe from The Princess and the Frog. Sully's design was said to be based on that of a prehistoric giant ground sloth. Sully has 5.5 million rendered hairs in Monsters University, 5 times as many as in Monsters, Inc. Physically, Sully has 5,475,458 hairs on his body. He weighs 985 pounds. It is revealed in Monsters University that Sully's father is actually named Bill Sullivan. At one point, they made Sully wear glasses, which was a bad idea because it was hard to see the eye expressions of the character. In France, Sully's name is spelled Sully. Due to the fact that Monsters University came after Monsters, Inc. by 12 years, Sully sounds 12 years older than his later self. In sense, Sully roars like a lion, so he is also a lion. So James P. Sullivan, aka Sully, is both a monster and a lion. His roar originated from the lion scene from the 1995 live-action film, Jumanji. Before John Goodman was cast, Bill Murray was initially considered for the voice role of James P. Sully Sullivan. He screen tested for the role and was interested, but when Pete Docter was unable to make contact with him, he took it as a no. In addition to Murray, George Wendt, Steve Martin, Dan Aykroyd, and Robin Williams also auditioned for the role of Sully. Quotes, "I'm gonna wipe the floor with that Mike Wazowski. I don't believe I ordered a wake-up call, Mikey. Hey, Randall Boggs, save it for the scare floor, will ya? You go to sleep." That's what I decided to call Boo. Is there a problem? Boo! I think we stopped Henry J. Waternoose III, Boo. You're safe now. You be a good girl, okay? Laughs. Hey, you're good. Don't you ever run away from me again, young lady. But I'm so glad you're safe. Kitty has to go. Character information. Species. Monster gender. Male eye color. Blue fur color. Blue with purple spots. Home. Mike and Sully's apartment. Monstropolis. Relatives. Bill Sullivan. Father. Sully's mom. Voice actor. John Goodman. Brian Cummings. Video games. First appearance. Monsters, Inc. Film. Last appearance. Monsters at Work.
It makes sense why Sully was chosen to be the icon of Monsterism because of how great he is, and after all that, you have to agree. Like, you've got to agree with me here, isn't Sully just such a great character? Everything about him, his relationship with Mike and Boo, all the great things that he does throughout the movie Monsters Inc. and Monsters University, he's just such a great all-around great character, and you had to agree with me here. Anyways, on to the next chapter. I'm gonna just throw the OG video in here for reflecting or some shit. Definitely not to pad up the runtime or anything.
This song, it changed my life. Before I listened to The Monster Under the Bed by Robert Sheldon, score and sound, I was nothing but a mere peasant. After listening to this beautiful song, I was able to ascend further than the observable plane of what I thought was possible, and what wasn't. It's as if I had just flown into the atmosphere and didn't come back. It was this feeling like no other, like I could do anything, like I could slay that stupid monster and send him back under the bed where he belongs. I don't know why, but processing this song made me float into the heavens, into the ever-reaching sky, past the stars of the observable universe, and into the imaginary plane of new existence brewed by only the smartest thinkers. I can feel every note coming inside me, each individual one. The quiet chorus of the flutes and clarinets followed by the da-da-da-da was so cool that it made my eardrums shatter into 1,987,456,846 pieces, and it made my brain expand by 5,000% and come to a metaphorical understand that I will now explain. At first, it seems as though the monster is about to munch and crunch on your balls, hence the da-da-da-da. And you run all around your room, flailing your arms and whining as the fat-ass monster stomps toward you, as though a big boulder hopping up and down. Then you go into the closet on the verge of pissing yourself, thinking extremely quickly about your next thought. You look down and see a bag of white powder on the floor. You decide to get high before your future children die and snort that shit up. Your eyes droop and you feel so good. Suddenly, you're in a great open field, and you feel euphoric and grand. Hence the part of the song that sounds like this. You jump and dance around, but you begin to notice that each step sounds heavier and bigger than the last, but you're higher than a kite, so you don't notice it. After what felt like a good while, what's actually about 12 measures in 4/4 worth of time, you start to feel this terrible feeling. It grows stronger and stronger until you just can't resist to duh, duh. Everything gets quiet again, and your crack-ridden ass stumbles out of the closet stomping around, which is a reference to the jazz song Stompin' at the Savoy all by itself. As your vision finally comes back, you see a little mofo running around the room. You feel nothing but the urge to finally charge at the little fucker, which chases it onto the bed, and you're about to munch and crunch on its balls. You then realize that the song loops infinitely, and you go from the victim to the monster, infinitely. When you get the crack, you turn into the monster, and the cycle loops forever after. This song contains so much meaning that I now have a completely different outlook on existence as a whole. The true monsters are the beds we made along the way.
And on to the next chapter. Being a monsterist is a hard task to uphold, but it is required to keep true to your faith. This is my daily schedule for Monsterism. 2:50 a.m. Wake up. 3 a.m. Drink the Sully potion at 3 a.m. 3:10 a.m. Binge watch both Monsters movies. 6:26 a.m. Go for a jog in the Sully costume. 7 a.m. Pray to the monsters. 1 p.m. Eat Monsters Inc. food for lunch. 1:30 p.m. Binge watch both Monsters movies again. 4:46 p.m. Take a shower. 4:47 p.m. Pray to the monsters again. 8 p.m. Eat Monsters Inc. food for dinner. 8:30 p.m. Binge watch both Monsters movies again. 11:46 p.m. Go for another jog in the Sully costume. 12 a.m. Perform in-depth monster roleplays in the Sully costume. 2 a.m. pray to the monsters, again, 2:49 a.m. Go to sleep. Now, you may be wondering how I have time for all of this so frequently, and for legal reasons, I cannot answer that question. This is such a great and eventful lifestyle that I think you should participate in too. But now, on to the next chapter, the final chapter. What does any of this even mean? Why have I chosen this song in particular to make this kind of video about? Well, I've been answering that question all throughout the video, and you should really know by now if you've been paying close attention. I did all of this because it's the monster under the bed, the greatest
song known to man. The entire idea of music in general bows down to this song, for it is the pinnacle of humanity, a symbol of hope and faith, a virtue of the bright future that is to come if we continue this path. Monsterism spawned from this song the correct religion which the entire world should unite with. One unanswered question is that if Sully is the depiction of Jesus or Muhammad in the song, then who is the depiction of God? I'm surprised you haven't figured it out by now, considering Chapter 2 was his biography. Robert Sheldon is God. He is the one who brought this beautiful song into existence. He is the all-knowing and almighty one. Pixar helped by making the Monsters franchise the embodiment of the religion, but Robert Sheldon is truly the mighty one. This entire video is pretty much dedicated to him, although I know the second half was more of a Monsters Inc. tangent. We should pray to not just Sully, but to Robert Sheldon, for he is our savior. But what about Mike Wazowski? He is on a similar rank to Sully, but isn't quite there yet. All of this circles back to the monster under the bed, the greatest song on earth, created by God himself. This video is a teaching, a message, a call to action. Join Monsterism today and praise this song, and your life will be so much better than you could have ever possibly imagined. It changed me, and it will change you too. All you need to do is take the first step and join us, for may the monsters always be with you. Monsterism is a beautiful religion that embodies everything about this feeling brewed by Robert Sheldon. From Monsters Rush to how to live a proper life, there is nothing better to do than to stand with us with Monsterism. Leave your past life behind and walk with us. Experience it firsthand, and we promise you will never want to go back. For Monsterism is not only the greatest religion in the world, but the greatest thing in the history of the universe. Now all you need to do is join us. There is no reason you should not, so what are you waiting for? Do it now! I'll fucking wait for you! Go ahead and join us right this fucking instant, you fucking whore, goddammit! Ah!
And that was the Monster Under the Bed in-depth analysis. I hope I taught you a thing or two from this video, and thanks for watching. It took a while to make, and I'd appreciate it if you left a like. Anyways, this is the conclusion to my public thoughts of this song and religion. Obviously, I will 100% for real on God, no cap on my left nut continue to follow Monsterism, and I hope you will join me. Trust me, you will not regret it. This has been the Monster Under the Bed in-depth analysis. Goodbye, and may the monsters be with you, or whatever the fuck the phrase was. Also, in case you're wondering, I'm not a furry. Also, this is a joke, so don't get mad at me. It's a joke. That means it's satire. It's not serious.
Joke. A thing that someone says to cause amusement or laughter, especially a story with a funny punchline. Example, she was in a mood to tell jokes.
So yeah, I don't know why you'd get mad at me, but it's a joke. It's not serious. And the only reason this video is still going is to pad up the runtime so it's a round number. Because, you know, if it was just some random number, it wouldn't really be so nice looking. But now we're about to reach that point. So, yeah, bye. See ya.